What is good, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video. I have an extremely busy schedule, but I'm having the time right now to squeeze in a set of predictions videos for AEW Full Gear 2024. This is like my 6th time trying to film this because I have crapped out and ruined the intro every time. But I'm just going to tell y'all now, let's get through these predictions. I also got to go through the monthly cliche of AEW always puts on a good pay-per-view, and I would be a bit surprised if it's not one of those instances where this is a good pay-per-view. Even though we're getting a handful of rematches this time around, but it is what it is. First match to talk about, AJ versus QT Marshall. I'm not going to dwell into the Costco guys and the whole universe that is provided from these people, because it's one of those instances where I get it, then again I don't really get it, but if I had to combine that into one, it's just something that I don't want to get. Granted, I don't really see AEW bringing in AJ, the Rizzler, and the other one, even though the Rizzler is not the freaking Sun, but I don't see them bringing all these people in just for him to lose, so I'm going to predict that AJ wins this matchup. Next matchup to talk about, in my notebook I wrote down Jay White versus Roderick Strong, which I would have automatically got that wrong because it is Jay White versus Hangman Page. They had a good match at Wrestle Dream. I expect it this time around that it will also be a good match, but this time around I'm expecting Hangman Page to win this matchup and to get that big moment over Jay White, because it's kind of the story that they're telling this time around. Speaking of Roderick Strong, he's facing MJF. As much as I'd like Roderick Strong to win this matchup, I'd be surprised if he does. I'm going with MJF. Next matchup, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. I want Ospreay to win. I wouldn't be that surprised if Fletcher won. That way they can give him this big moment and make a big deal about it. I don't really want Fletcher to win. So I'm going to pick with my heart and not my brain. And I'm going with Ospreay to win. And if, to be honest, if freaking Ospreay lost, I'd be pretty pissed about it regardless. The match I'm looking forward to the most because it is new, it should be good, and there's been a lot of build for it. This being Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. And I can't say this is his in-ring debut in AEW because he competed on Dynamite against Cheeseburger, ROH legend. I was going to say ROH alumni, but ROH legend Cheeseburger. This time around, Swerve Strickland, Bobby Lashley. It's kind of one of those instances where it is Lashley's big matchup, first big matchup. I think he needs the victory a little bit more than Swerve. So I'm going to go with Lashley to win. As now we have all championship matches left. The first one added today prior to filming this video for the International Championship. Konosuke Takeshita versus Ricochet. I'm going to hope that Takeshita wins. I'd try to combine his name. Takeshita wins. That way, we get the ball rolling on this international title run because it hasn't been yet. And this, I feel, could be the start of that. So I'm going to predict Takeshita to win. Konosuke Takeshita. I've got to stop trying to combine his name. Next matchup. Probably the one I'm most conflicted about in my thought process. It is a TNT title match with Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia. I think a great majority of people want Daniel Garcia to finally get his big moment and big title win. But in the build of this, it kind of seems that Jack Perry is a little bitch because he's gotten bitched out time and time again. He starts talking and I sometimes just stop listening and whatnot. And Daniel Garcia is consistently bitched him out. So if he takes the title from it, it's just how does this benefit Jack Perry whatsoever? Maybe it's just me overthinking it. Because like I said, if Jack Perry won, then it's you did all that for nothing because he lost. But I want to see Daniel Garcia win and have his big moment. I'm going to predict Daniel Garcia to win, but I would not be that surprised if Jack Perry won, which is the first time that I've said that in these set of predictions. But my overall pick is DG. Next matchup for the TBS titles, Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander. I think that this should be a good match. The build for this is just head scratching, confusing, that like the different directions that they went through to get to this matchup. And it's also like we've kind of gotten used to Mercedes Moné not losing, that I feel it's going to be another one of those instances where she does not lose. But I'd very much appreciate it if we got another TBS title run from Chris Statlander, because her first one was pretty good. Next, for the tag team titles, Private Party versus the Acclaimed versus the Outrunners versus the House of Blacks, Malachi Black and Brody King, collectively known as the Kings of the Black Throne. I would love it if Brody and Malachi got their big moment and big tag team title win in AEW. They are still the PWG tag team champions, because I constantly look up PWG related stuff, and that kind of slipped out of my mind for a moment. Maybe they should bring those titles to AEW TV. Wild suggestion. That being said, Private Party is finally getting their moment. It's like I said with the international title with Takeshita. They just won these titles. Let's get the ball rolling. Give them a big time matchup and victory. So I'm going with Private Party to retain. So we have our main event, a match that took place at Full Gear last year, but the stakes are a lot higher. AEW World Title match, Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. I do feel that they should have leaned into the two's previous matchups, mainly the Full Gear match, because it's like, oh, it's an anniversary of sorts from their last matchup. But I've said it time and time again. You kind of forget sometimes that Moxley's the world champion because the title has not been seen, and he just never really brings up the title. It would be nice, and this is the last time I can say it because it's the last match I had to predict. It'd be nice if like Orange Cassidy like got his big moment and big title win. Granted, he held the international title for almost a year, so that kinda counts, but I fully expect Moxley to win this match. So, Full Gear, Saturday. November is a crazy month in general for me. This is a crazy week on the channel. Next week will be probably even crazier. So it's nice to squeeze these predictions in. If anything is added or changed, I'll comment my thoughts on it prior to the pay-per-view. On an AEW related note, and it's something that I could cheer about, and I think everybody should cheer about if you watch AEW, the Continental Classic 2, as we can see, it's coming. It's coming. Wednesday, I believe, is the actual start date. But before it actually starts, watch my video talking about what I would like to see take place in this year's Continental Classic, because I did have a lot of fun making that video. So I do appreciate y'all for watching this one. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.